What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be showing you how to change the front brake pads on this 2000 Kawasaki ZX6R. Right off the bat, if your brake calipers look like this, oily with a lot of dirt collected on them, that probably means your front fork seals have blown and leaked down the fork tube onto your brakes, which is very dangerous because it reduces your braking power by getting oil on your brakes, which is never good. So ideally, you change your fork seals before you do your brake pads. That way you don't contaminate your new brake pads with oil. To get access to the pads, we must take out two 4mm Allen head bolts that hold the spring plate against the pads. First off, a little cleaning in the area. A small dowel cross-drilled for a cotter pin locates the pads in the caliper, so fish this out, then poke the pads out the top of the caliper. With the pads out, the calipers slide off easily. These calipers are absolutely filthy from miles of blown fork seals leaking all over them, so I'm going to freshen up these as best I can before the new pads go in. These will get cleaned again when new fork seals go in. To install new pads, we have to expand the pistons in the caliper, which moves some brake fluid back into the reservoir, so open and clean the reservoir to make it easier to return the pistons. Gently push the pistons into the caliper, being careful not to scratch or gouge the piston seals, face, or outer diameter. Take great care here. Torque spec for the caliper to fork bolts is 25 foot-pounds. Wiggle the pads in with the caliper attached. Don't forget the cotter pin. The first time you grab the brake lever, you want to ensure the reservoir has enough fluid as the pads push towards the rotor. You want to feel normal brake lever pressure after a few pumps. If the brakes do not build pressure, something is very wrong. Well, that's a wrap on the front brake job on this 2000 Kawasaki ZX6R. It can be quite a dirty job. You've got leaky fork oil seals, but if your fork seals aren't blown like this one, it should be a little bit cleaner job, but there still will be a lot of brake dust in the areas, so it's always good to have some brake clean on hand. And also, since you're compressing the pistons, moving them around and working with the brakes, it's a good time. You might as well bleed the brakes while you're there. Check out my other video. I'll have a link in the description on how to bleed brakes. Of course, the brakes on a bike aren't vacuum assisted, so before you even take the bike for a ride, you should feel normal firmness in the brake lever before you even get moving. So if you don't, stop, check over the work you've done. With brakes, it's often a good idea to bed them in, which often means taking an increasingly higher and higher speed and stopping from that speed more aggressively in incremental amounts. Now is also a good time to check your rotors. Check your factory service manual, check the thickness of the rotor, and make sure they don't need replacing as well along with your pads. As always, thanks for watching. Please smash the like and subscribe button down below. And as always, have a good day.